Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
We said, nah, just go.
Let's go.
Just go, don't worry. So, yeah, no.
All right. Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, Kahiso Khengwane. Osizinjiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And today I've got legends in the studio, the King Said So studio, Paseta in the house, and I've got Fuka in the house. I've got Pirisi in the house. Listen, it's gonna go down, and I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy this conversation today. I try by all means to get as much as many people as possible on the podcast, and today I'm visited by my friends around the corner, and they are saying they want to say something to the world. So I think you guys are gonna enjoy this. Let me start on the far side. My lord, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, and who's you and what are you doing here, Jamal?
No, thank you, King.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, before I introduce myself, I would just like to say it's a privilege to be on this platform. I'm a subscriber of King Said So. So that's first and foremost. I'm a subscriber of King Said So.
Yeah.
And I try to follow the show every day. So, to start, my name is Kenneth Nibenes, but also known as Ken Parks. Born, bred, battered in Galeshewe.
Yeah.
From Royal Street.
Yeah.
If you know Royal Street, if you go into Galeshewe, that's the main road that leads into Galeshewe.
Yes, sir.
And historically, we were told that the Queen from England passed in that street. That's why it was named the Royal. That's why it was named the Royal. So I'm from Royal Street.
It was during 1947.
Yeah, that was during 1947. So I was born in Royal Street. I am a child of Galeshewe in the Greater Number 2.
Yeah.
And and I'm very happy and honored to be here. Not to waste time with the introduction, I'll give over to the Elder Wanga.
No, Ken Parks, I'm still with you. Greater Number 2 has got so much historical significance in Tonyo. Do the people who grow like yourself, who bred and butted in Number 2, understand the richness of the history? As you guys are growing up there, is this something that is openly spoken about?
King, what a question. For me, I wouldn't say all the information
is out
there. I was told by my grandparents, my grandmother, she was the one that told me, no, the Queen passed here. But there's a lot of information that is not shared. If you know Greater Number 2, King, and if you know Galeshewe, Greater Number 2, there's so many icons. You have Gideon Mumalo. There's a Mumalo Street in my area.
Yes.
Gideon Mumalo. Mumalo was a jazz superstar.
Yes.
But it's not known.
Yes.
We have Hamilton Masiza.
Yes.
He's also somebody who was great. He was also in the music, but he was also a teacher. But I'm saying I'm only going to name those two, which are people that are not celebrated. It's people that I've never heard stories about them until I started Googling who's Gideon Mumalo. Then I got the background. So information is still kept. I only started knowing about Robert Sobukwe when I was grown.
Yeah.
But Robert Sobukwe used to pass down Royal Street every day going to work. So I didn't know about it. I only started knowing about Robert Sobukwe when I was grown. You understand? So information is not easily accessible. Our libraries are there, but even our libraries doesn't contain a lot of information about the rich history of Galeshewe and Kimberley.
Wow.
And the Greater Number 2.
That's beautiful. Now we're going to dive deeper into that. We've got the elder today. You've got so many tags, so many names. Person does not know. Tell us, leader, who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing here? Where do you come from? Ufunani, like King Said So.
King Said So, I came here being dragged by by this young man here
Yes.
to say that I need to come here and share this information with the world.
Yes.
My name is Buitumelo. I'm Joy Pires.
Yes.
I've got a company called Native Minds.
Okay.
Now, in Native Minds, we document oral histories of previously disadvantaged communities.
Yeah.
And it is those histories that, because I'm a tourist guide as well.
Oh, you're doing tourist guide as well?
I'm doing tourist guiding. I'm actually into tourism.
Yes.
Native Minds is a heritage tourism company.
Okay.
Yes. We document oral histories of previously disadvantaged communities. And it is those histories that we promote through active tourist guiding activities. So we've got bicycles. We take you on bicycle tours around the township. We share, we give you an experience of Khalishiwe, we can give you an experience of Kimberley. And yes, we promote our stories wherever we go. We try by all means that these stories, these unheard of stories, don't die.
Yeah.
We try and promote them throughout the world, like we are sharing this platform with you today.
Yes. And how long have you been doing this tourism, and when did it all start for you, and why tourism? And why documenting orally so these stories around Khalishiwe and Greater Northern Cape?
Lord, the story of Kimberley, or should I say that of Khalishiwe, it's an old story. It's a story that dates back to the 1870s. Yes, Khalishiwe, before it can be named Khalishiwe, it was number 2. Now, number 2 is one of the first locations of Kimberley. When Kimberley was first started, Kimberley was divided into 4 locations, of which these locations never had names. They were only known by their numbers. We had location number 1, location number 2, number 3, and number 4. Now, all these other locations died off. Location number 1, 3, and 4.
Their names died off?
No, the location itself. Because now white people wanted to create a white settlement for themselves.
Okay.
So these locations had to be eradicated so that development can take place. But only location number 2 remained. It is that location that was later then renamed Khalishiwe that we see today. So if we want to make reference to Kimberley, our only reference point becomes Khalishiwe. Location number 2. Because it's the only remaining first locations of Kimberley. So ours was to, because of this oldness, this rich history, we wanted to document the stories, the history of Kimberley, so that story should not die. Our children and those yet unborn should know and realize as to where they come from. Because in as much as there is a glitter to Kimberley, there's also the squalor in Khalishiwe. Hence, we find ourselves having been, I don't want to say working, but volunteering for Native Minds, being actively involved in trying to ensure that we make the memory, we live the memory.
I'm always skeptical of that description, and I'm happy I've got people in the room today that can assist me. When I trace my clan, the Zinjiva clan, one of the first kings that we can speak about in my clan is this Hosi Zinjiva. It's someone that was born in what you call the northern part of KwaZulu-Natal, moved to Mozambique, and then had 40 wives, and then those children then spread back into South Africa, Mpumalanga and Limpopo. This is around the 12th century. And every time I hear the story of Kimberley, I hear the 18s. And I'm like, where's the 17s? Where's the 16s? Because we can't start our history as to when those hooligans came here. And it's like at that point of saying it was never there until white people discovered it. It bothers me. What do you have to say about that, my lord?
King, it's unfortunate, first and foremost. But what is important for me is the time, what actually made the settlers, the people who came to Africa, what made them actually settle. You must remember also, King, that our information, especially growing up, has been orally transmitted. So our forefathers didn't document and wrote things down, so information was passed orally. But where did the great disturbance come? Was the discovery of the diamond. That is why information that is available now, you must know they break the diamond, finding the diamond, as they are saying, discovering the diamond in Kimberley, brought the British Army to Kimberley. Kimberley ended up being a British protectorate. So they divided us, King, they broke us apart. Because you must also remember, the discovery of diamonds also created a railway line that went into the Rhodesias, the Zimbabweans and the Zambias, going all the way up. And the purpose for that was for them to bring in slave labor, laborers who come and work in the mines. So already our cultural structure of who we are gets diluted. It gets mixed up, it gets messed up, because now you find a lot of people coming into Kimberley from South Africa, even the Pedis were coming to Kimberley. And as history was told, they said, no, the Pedis actually came here to come and work in the mine, but only to buy guns. But would return if they receive those guns. So our history...
My grandfather is one of them, by the way.
If you understand that. So for us, we know that our history is very much mixed up. Our history is still told by the white person. That's why it is our generation that need to make sure that we correct some of those past mistakes, where we only transmitted our information through oral transmission. So our story got mixed up, our story got lost, but we are still alive to go and make sure that we correct the story.
Brajoy,
my lord.
Kimberley, first city in the southern part of Ndrenyo, because of what our brother is saying, the discovery of this $1 trillion industry, mining industry, the Jones and the Oppenheimers and the Pierre's family, all of them taking part, all of this. Today, when you look at Kimberley, what is your feel? What do you feel as you are looking at Kimberley, the first city, electricity, train, the stock exchange, all of these things? Where is Kimberley as the capital city of each province? How many provinces we have? 9 provinces. The capital city, which is the first city in South Africa, is the smallest. When's that? Are we blaming the ANC? Are we blaming the people? Are we blaming the land theft that has happened here? Because Kimberley is failing to grow with outwards, because people don't know, surrounding Kimberley is farms that are owned. So Kimberley can't grow through to the sides like normal other towns are growing. Our varsity is built here, just next to our house here. Why is there varsity here? We've got Flamingo, we've got Boshoff Road, we've got Cape Town Road. When's that?
The saddest part about Kimberley is that when it was created, white people, most of them, like if I should take you back The land that we call the Northern Cape today was initially inhabited by what we call the Batlaping.
Yes.
Now, the Batlaping they are but just a totem of the Batswana people.
Yes.
Yes. So they were the ones that were inhabiting.
It's a clan within the tribe.
It's a clan within the tribe.
Yes.
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 So, like for instance, on this other side, on this side of the Northern Cape, you would find Khosi Kgalisheo. But on the other side, on the northern side, you would find Luka Janki and Khosi Toto, all Batlaping. Hence, when these settlers came in and discovered the diamonds,
Yes.
because I mean it's absurd to say that these people came here and discovered the diamond, unless it was because it was an early discovery. They discovered something that was already discovered. Black people used to live with these diamonds. The only problem is that these people never attached any monetary value to these stones. Yes. These stones had sentimental value. And mind you, with the digging of the hole, these very same citizens or individuals, their lives were then disturbed because these diamonds were created to be underneath, these minerals. They were created to be underneath. And those that were given to us were alluvial diamonds. That's where Khosi Toto would form a whole platoon, and then they would walk around the banks of the rivers and search for these diamonds. He is the first African to put out a proclamation to say that his grandfather's land is not supposed to be dug. Hence, when he heard that these white people were digging around Griquastad, he went there with his own party to go look for them, but they ran away from the alluvial diggings to the dry diggings, this side of the dry diggings. Already here, Herbert Rhodes was already here. Now, Kimberley, the land itself, most of these white people would claim some of the land as they drew black people away from the diamond-infested land. They claimed most of the land. Hence you find today Kimberley not being able to can grow because of most of the farms that surrounds Kimberley are privately owned. Kimberley remains a small city, and it is dying even today because of De Beers has now left. But
left us dry.
Yes, it has left, and now everything has gone dry. But we are saying that no, we can transform this very same rich history that is here in Kgalisheo into a food basket for everyone. Because with this rich history, we can transform Kgalisheo into becoming a most preferred destination, cultural tourism destination of the Northern Cape province.
My lord, what is Fantuka actually when we are talking about spreading the word of Kimberley and everything? What is Fantuka? I know you've got a podcast, one of my new favorite podcasts, and I would advise you guys to please watch Fantuka. I'll put it on the screen so that you guys can follow it quickly.
King, as from the introduction,
yes,
myself, the elder, we've spoken about the wealth of history that is in Kgalisheo, the wealth of history that is in Kimberley, the wealth of history that is in the Northern Cape. The first stock exchange, when they started industrializing South Africa, it was here
in Kimberley.
When Wits University, it started as a rail school. It started here in Kimberley. The first street lights. I'm talking now Kimberley's history before I even go into Galeshiwe's history. So with all that, and it's untapped, it's not exploited, it's not shared. So Fantuka, for us, is an answer for that. We want to make sure that we start telling our stories. We start documenting our stories. We start preserving our stories for future generations. That's why we started Fantuka, and our core focus will be to make sure that this rich history is preserved, is kept for generations to still enjoy and still learn from. Yes.
Let me, if you can allow me, gentlemen, to go into politics. I always with a view that South Africans view life through a political lens. It's like I say politics is the master's last distraction, to distract us as black people, to give us a false hope, to think that through politics, through the ballot paper, there's hope. But in that, we know there's division, in that there's whatever. When we look at, I think for the existence of Kimberley, it's always been under the hands of the ANC. The ANC has made some good things in the city and some questionable moves and all of that. But I can't speak because I was not born here. I came here 2006. So for the people who were born and bred here, the transactions of the different premiers and everything up to where we are today, are you happy with the ANC, how it's treating especially Galeshiwe? Let me start with the elder.
Wow.
Because you know more. You are what, PAC?
Am I? No, yes, I'm Pan-Africanist.
Yes, of
yes,
course.
I'm Pan-Africanist.
Yes.
And I can tell you this. Since the inception, the ANC is not actually a black organization. Or should I say?
Hey, man, elder. Be careful, elder.
I don't need to be careful.
Yes.
I don't need to be careful.
Yes.
I'm saying what we are.
You are stating the facts.
Yes, I'm saying what needs to be said.
Hey, man.
The ANC is actually serving the interests of white people. It was created for white people,
hey,
but it is run by black people.
Hey, man.
Yes. Saul Plaatje, who is the Secretary General, who was the Secretary General of the ANC.
Yeah.
If you go back into the ANC, the history of the ANC, before the ANC could be what it is called today, the ANC, it was a Native Congress.
Yes.
It was an organization that was created to serve the interests of the natives.
Okay.
Yes. But then there's a difference between the Native Congress and the ANC, the current ANC. Solely because of it was later on that the ANC discarded the native word to open up its membership for everyone.
Broad, yes.
Yes. So everyone could come in.
Multiracial nonsense.
Yes. Meaning now even the enemy is also can also come in. So now you look at the characters that characterizes the ANC. Saul Plaatje was, when the ANC left, when the Native Congress delegation left on its first deputation to England to demand or to lament to the Queen the plight of the Africans in South Africa. They went, they didn't meet the Queen, and they came back. They went for the second deputation, and on their second deputation, that's where Saul Plaatje was left behind. Now we are told that Saul Plaatje was galvanizing support, whereas we are not told that Saul Plaatje was also initiated into the Brotherhood movement. Because when he came back, He established the brotherhood movement. He became even the first in the Southern Hemisphere to establish what we call the brotherhood movement. Now, being secretary, being the engine of the organization, whoever came into the ANC became now a brother, a brotherhood member. Hence, you look at those brothers, they are identified by this line on their heads. Yes,
Yeah, but it was upper here. It was upper. It was somewhere here. It was not here. I'm not part of them, brother. I have never met so flaky guys. Me, I've never. I don't know.
But
yes.
I mean, you look at them. Some had it, some didn't have it.
Yes.
But it was to identify who is a brother.
Who's in the clique?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the Soul Plakies had it. The Zulus had it.
The Mandelas.
The Mandelas.
So many.
There's so many. The Tambos didn't. Luthuli, yes. Hence today, he's a recipient even of the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, so already it showed you the infiltration, or should I say, the character of the ANC back then, as to what organization is this. Hence, at a later stage, Sobukwe also saw this very same thing and he had to leave the organization because he felt that this organization was then infiltrated by then the communists. You know, so he left the organization and he to form the PAC, which today I can safely say that the PAC of yesteryear of Sobukwe was the ANC of the years before. The Native Congress was pushing a Pan-Africanist agenda. Hence it was a Native Congress. But when they opened up its membership, it became now, it no more became a Pan-Africanist agenda. It pushed now a capitalist agenda. Because its members were already now bought and being taken into this occult or clique that made them servants of those that were oppressing the masses.
And you, as the younger generation, how do you guys view the ANC, the impact of it, if any, in the Antonia? I can say ANC. Okay, let me not share my opinion because I work for the state.
Yes. No, allow us.
Yeah, please.
King, our first premier. I'll go back.
Go back, my lord.
I will just say our first premier.
Yes.
Maneli Pichu.
Maneli Pichu.
Yes.
He was the first premier and he was the premier of the ANC.
Yes.
But Maneli Pichu ended up being a deputy chairperson of the Bears. And he became the chairperson of Bonohalo. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. So the premier, our first premier, became a deputy chairperson of the Bears.
Yeah, so
The very same company that they have been fighting.
And he became a chairperson of Bonohalo. Bonohalo was a PE partner to the Bears. And they owned about 26% of the Bears. So, with those few words, what I'm just saying in a nutshell, King, is that Northern Cape or Kimberley was sold.
There, back then.
To the highest bidder. Back then, because if the premier was a member of the ANC, he was a chairperson at that time with a strong union background coming from a mining union. If he, after we have fought for liberation and for freedom, which we say today we are enjoying, if he in 1994 became the biggest beneficiary, benefiting from the same diamonds that we are complaining about, the same holes that we are complaining about. Yesterday, King, we went to a meeting of Ekapa mining.
Yes.
They took over mines from the PS.
Yes.
But if you can hear the stories from the ex-mine workers, the current workers, the communities that are living, it is heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking.
So that is a fight that will never stop. It will still continue. So with those few words, basically what I'm saying, the ANC hasn't done anything. They hasn't helped the people of Kimberley. They haven't helped the people of the Northern Cape. If you go to number 2 now, you will find the living condition of our people in a worse state than it was before 1994.
It's deteriorating.
It is deteriorating
every year, to be honest.
Every year. I mean, we are living.
Yeah, you are there.
We are not exaggerating anything.
Yeah.
We are saying we are still living in number 2. The elder gave history and background of number 2 and how far it dates back as a location in the 1870s, as a location. But those people of that location,
they suffer the most in Kimberley.
They suffer the most,
to be honest.
But the children of the elders, they are still suffering, and this time worse off. So politics hasn't done anything for us. The ANC, I'm a member of the ANC. I've just left the ANC, but till today, even if I've left the ANC, my membership is still in good standing. So I can still say I'm talking as a member of the ANC, because I went to the ANC with the hope to say the ANC will actually rectify mistakes.
Yeah.
They will fight the true cause. You understand? But for ourselves to see with our own eyes that we are on our own, black child.
Yes. We are on our own, black child. Now we have the center. What is the name of the center? When did you guys take over the center? And let me start with the elder. When did this issue of taking over the center? Because it was neglected at one time.
The Robert Mandela Sobukwe Law Office, which is currently occupied by Khalishwe Youth Network.
Robert Sobukwe was there, in that center.
Robert Sobukwe?
Yes.
Robert Sobukwe was banished to Khalishwe, or should I say,
yes,
his prison cell was extended from Robben Island to Khalishwe.
What do you mean extended?
Okay, maybe if I should clarify then. Remember when Robert Sobukwe was arrested?
Yes.
Robert Sobukwe was charged for incitement, and Robert Sobukwe was sentenced to prison, hard labor for 3 years.
Yes.
But then on that very same day, the apartheid agents came, they kidnapped him after sentencing, and they flew him to Robben Island.
Okay.
He spent those 3 years in Robben Island,
sure,
in isolation.
Yes.
But when the time came after that 3 years,
what do you mean in isolation? What do you mean in isolation? Isolation?
No,
Robert Sobukwe is already in isolation.
No, Robben Island is isolated,
yes,
from the rest of
South Africa. Yes.
Yes. But in Robben Island, Robert Sobukwe was placed not with the rest of the other prisoners.
Yes.
He was kept aside of the other prisoners.
Was isolated in isolation?
In isolation, yes. So, because the apartheid government declared, or they said, Robert Sobukwe was the only political prisoner in that island. The rest of the other inmates, they regarded them as criminals. So Robert Sobukwe, according to the apartheid government back then, was the only one who was fighting for a just cause. So they came up with, after his the 3 years came for him to be released, the apartheid parliament had to sit and come up with a clause to govern Robert Sobukwe alone in the country. He was governed alone, but by what we call today the Sobukwe Clause.
Okay.
Now the Sobukwe Clause.
Was there a Zuma clause?
There can never be a Zuma clause.
Was there Mandela Clause?
How can there be a Mandela clause when Mandela was working for them?
No.
So,
I'm lost, Elder. Again, we must take it to confidence so that we get properly informed.
Okay.
You are saying, what are you saying? You are saying the apartheid government.
Yes, the apartheid government.
They sat down in parliament.
They had to sit because Robert Sobukwe now, his time had come for him to be released.
The 3 years he was
the
lapsing.
3 years was lapsing.
Yes.
So Parliament had to sit and come up with a clause or an act of Parliament to keep Robert Sobukwe indefinitely in prison. Hence, they came up with what they called the Sobukwe Clause. Now, the Sobukwe Clause was a clause that was created to keep Robert Sobukwe in prison up until the other side of eternity. Sobukwe, with that clause, the clause stipulated that Sobukwe could not be quoted.
Quoted?
Yes.
I can't say
you cannot say Sobukwe said. You could not say Sobukwe said because the words that came out of his mouth were truthful.
Powerful.
Hence, these other ones, they were regarded as criminal. Sobukwe was seen as the only political prisoner because Sobukwe was fighting for a just cause. Because Souka was fighting for the land, the return of the land to its rightful owners. That was the cry of the PAC. Mind you, this very same PAC is the one that led to all the organizations of the liberation organizations to be banned in 1960. Because Sobukwe left the ANC in 1959. But 6 months thereafter, after he had formed the BAC, the apartheid government banned all political organizations. And
it was becoming too much.
Yes, because Sobukwe had led people into, because people were complaining about these passes, to say that we don't want to carry these passes. And Sobukwe came up with a simple plan to say, now that you don't want to carry these passes, let's leave these passes at home.
The Dompas.
Dompas, yes. And instead of the police harassing us looking for these passes, let us hand ourselves over to police stations and say that we don't want to carry these passes. We are here and to hand ourselves over for arrest.
Did he led
by example.
What do you mean?
He led by example. He woke up 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock.
Prepared himself for a 5 kilometer walk to the police station, to his nearest police station.
And he walked there.
He did not go and woke you up and say, hey, let's walk. You followed after him. Because he led by example to hand himself over, whether you are coming or not.
This was when?
Now, we are talking 1960.
Or still in the 60s?
Yes, it is that same event that led to the Sharpeville massacre.
Yes.
Yes, where the country saw.
But now, here's the question. If he did that where? In Kimberley?
No, it was not in Kimberley.
He did that where? In Eastern Cape?
No, in Orlando.
In Orlando?
Yes, it was in Soweto.
Okay.
Yes.
And how did the whole of South Africa now hear
it was a national call.
Yes.
It was a national call to say that at a given time, each and every citizen in the country, black citizen in the country, should leave their passes at home and walk to the nearest police station and hand themselves over for arrest. In so doing, Sobukwe knew that we would fill up these police stations, but they won't be able to hold us all.
All of us.
Yes. So the man was arrested. I can safely say that he was arrested for nothing. But the government back then felt that it was incitement. Hence they kept him in Robben Island. And when the time came for him to be released, they imposed what we call the Souka Clause. And the Souka kept him in Robben Island for an additional 6 years. And there was pressure mounting. People were saying, no, release Robert Sobukwe. His time had long passed for him to be released. But instead of releasing him, the Parliament spoke to the Kimberley municipality to say, look for a suitable place for Robert Sobukwe. Now, if we are going to free you from prison, we are going to let you go and you are free. You can decide where
That's
to
the
go.
word they went free means.
Yes, that's free.
Yes.
But that was not the case with Robert Sobukwe. It was communicated to the Kimberley municipality to look for a suitable place for Robert Sobukwe. And number 6, Naledi Street, was identified as an ideal place to place Robert Sobukwe. So instead of releasing him, they extended that prison cell from a prison environment to a community. Hence, when he came here, because the Souka Clause, the terms of the Souka Clause applied to Sobukwe in Robben Island. But then more had to be added to that Souka Clause because now he's in the community now. Hence, banishment orders were also added to the Sobukwe Clause. You know,
So he couldn't do what?
he was supposed to report at the police station at every 6 o'clock.
No.
You know, he was not supposed.
No, wait.
I'm telling you.
No, the man was released from prison.
Exactly.
So you report to a
Police station. He had to go and sign.
He had a register.
There was a register specifically for him.
If the register manje must call manje.
No, it should be in their records. In the archives. Yes. Where Sobukwe had to sign every 6 o'clock. Sobukwe had to sign to ensure that he's within the magisterial district of Kimberley.
When is this? 69?
From 69.
Yes, from 69.
1969.
1969.
From 1969.
So Sobukwe, according to
Okay, he had to sign at the police station.
at the police
every day.
station,
What does the other thing that
he
we
could
know?
not be in the company of more than one person. If Sobukwe was here, if I was Sobukwe, and the two of you are here,
We get arrested.
That's the case.
I would be sent back to Robben Island.
So
Because
Fuka could not
I've
be in the
contravened
presence
the terms
of
of my-
2 or more. You know, the Bible says, where 2 or more are gathered, there I mean your spirit.
Yes.
He could not do that.
Yes.
He could not even do the Bible verse.
Yes,
He was going to be sent back.
he was going to be sent back. You know,
I
so
can imagine that life, eh?
I mean,
I can imagine.
but that because the idea was to break his spirit. But you know,
And the idea was to enchain his thoughts, not to break his spirit. So his thoughts must not be shared.
Yes.
exactly,
Yes.
they knew who Sobukwe was. We don't know who Sobukwe was.
Yeah.
Who Sobukwe is.
Yes.
We are the ones who don't know.
Yes.
But
But-
they knew. They knew.
You know, I'm gonna say this to you today. Whenever people are in bondage, God always sends a messenger to set the people free.
Are you saying Sobukwe
Now,
was a
Sobukwe
prophet
was
that was
such a-
sent?
Sobukwe
The
was
messenger
such a
that was sent?
Sobukwe was such a messenger. But those who knew that he was a messenger, you know, hence, as much as Sobukwe spent 9 years in Robben Island, he spent 9 years in Kimberley, in Khalishiwe too.
Sure.
9 years.
Okay. Before we go further.
So,
Okay.
the precinct that we are talking about is actually a precinct where, because mind you, we are talking about Khalishiwe and we are talking about a history of over 100 years old.
Yes.
In 1952, the ANC embarked on a campaign called the My Weir campaign.
Okay.
Now, it was in Kimberley
Yes.
where the first victims of the My Weir campaign of the ANC were shot.
Yes.
13 people lost their lives in Kimberley, in Khalishiwe. By those 13 people, I'm also referring to a mother with a baby on her back, because all the victims of the My Weir were shot on the back. The bullet hit the baby penetrated the mother, killing them both. You know, so there's a memorial in Galeshewe which is aimed at remembering those victims. That memorial is placed at a precinct called the Maibuye precinct. And this office, that's law office of Sobukwe, is also located within that precinct. Hence, there's no way you can divorce the history of Galeshewe from that of Sobukwe. Sobukwe is part of Galeshewe, and Galeshewe is a part of Sobukwe, or is part of the Pan-Africanist agenda that is supposed to be spread amongst people.
And I want to go, as we are diving deep into this. You are having a campaign.
Yes.
As the gentlemen that are there, as the community that is there. The campaign, you are saying you want to free Sobukwe's voice. What is this campaign? I'm very confused. What is going on here? What free it from what? Free it from who? Free it for what?
Mind you, we have Sobukwe.
Yeah.
And we have the Sobukwe Clause.
Yeah.
The Sobukwe Clause, which says Sobukwe should be kept in prison up until the other side of eternity. The Sobukwe Clause that stipulates also that Sobukwe cannot be quoted. Now, if Sobukwe is not supposed to be quoted and Sobukwe is supposed to be kept in prison up until the other side of eternity, it makes sense that even today the voice of Sobukwe is mute. Because that's imprisonment. Even his voice is being imprisoned to date. Hence, we are saying that we need to free the voice of Robert Sobukwe. We need to hear Robert Sobukwe speaking. Sobukwe must have had a message for us as a messenger. He had a message for us. And it is that message that we want to listen to. If those that are leading us today were being said or branded as terrorists, as criminal, and we see what they are doing today to us today, then definitely it means that Sobukwe has something better to tell us. Now we want to free that voice, because unless government is trying to tell us that when Sobukwe died, the Souka Clause was never relaxed or was never repealed. And unless they want to tell us that the Souka Clause is still intact, hence we can't find the voice of Sobukwe. Sobukwe's son died looking for the voice of his father up until today. We, as the Kimberley of Galeshewe, we are haunted, or should I say, we who are frequenting that office. Fuka podcast, Galeshewe Youth Network members, including Native Minds, we who are frequenting that office are haunted by Sobukwe to say that, go out there and look for my voice. And in my voice, there are answers.
No, you can't speak for other people. Even you're haunted when.
Truly speaking, Mokholwana, no, you see, King, that's the nice thing of having the elder here, because when it starts to roll.
No, but he says you are haunted.
No, we are haunted.
And you are not saying no or yes.
No,
now I'm wondering, is the elder telling the truth?
No, it's the truth.
You are haunted in Sobukwe's office.
We are haunted in that space of Sobukwe. We've been there since 2022.
Yes.
Remember, before we occupied the space.
Yeah.
As Mokholwana was explaining the rich history behind the whole precinct.
Yeah.
But in that precinct, there's Robert Sobukwe's office.
Yeah.
Before that, King, that office of Robert Sobukwe was vandalized several occasions.
No one cared about it.
Several times.
The office of Robert Sobukwe was
vandalized not once. And every time.
And mind you, it's not even declared a monument up until today.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was vandalized several times. And then there was a call. Like I'm saying, we were haunted. Besides, before we occupied Robert Sobukwe office, we tried to occupy, there's the old Kgaleshewe police station. But there was a lot of challenges until we actually decided Robert Sobukwe's office, because it always gets vandalized and gets dilapidated. It should be the space that we should occupy to save the legacy of Robert Sobukwe. So ever since 2022, we started occupying the space. We were haunted by his spirit. One, there would be visitors coming to visit the Robert Sobukwe office. There are different people coming for different purposes. Some would be writers writing on him. Some would be old friends just being in Kimberley, knowing that he spent paying tribute. First, we would be encountering with a lot of those people. And everybody we would be encountering, especially in the early days.
It's a spiritual
It was, and then we would have to engage about Robert Sobukwe. We ended up buying a book, the Benjamin Pogrando, How Can a Man Die Better? We ended up buying that book so that we should be understanding him. And ever since King, we wouldn't only spend time in the office doing community development, because we are currently running Kgaleshewe Youth Network, which is trying to come with answers for the youth of Kgaleshewe. We wouldn't, the time when we moved in, it was Kgaleshewe Youth Network, but we couldn't only be focusing on the development of the youth without preserving that memory and the legacy. So every time when we get there, we would be reminded who the person is. We got visits from the chauffeur. Somebody who was driving Robert Sobukwe around the time when he was in Kimberley. We got visits from such people, and they would be sharing very close and unknown information, and very intimate information about him. And that already connected us. So we, every time when we get there, we need to make sure, whatever we do, we also need to make sure we started preserving the memory. We got the artists to start painting murals on the walls. We started to get pictures, populate them. But as I'm saying, if you go to that space now,
and
you will find the space.
I like this. I like the peace.
Yes.
Spreading the peace within the. Because whenever one walks in, Sobukwe would greet. He's a person who would greet
and the people
everyone.
I bought there, they all had the same
Yes,
report.
Sobukwe would greet everyone. Whether you know him or you don't, he would greet. So that's the spirit that we inculcate also in the precinct. That whenever you see your fellow man, just greet him.
So we are following him
in his footsteps.
Okay, so let's talk about the campaign in a little bit of depth. Where, what, and how are we freeing Sobukwe's voice as we conclude?
Oh, okay. No, thank you, King. The campaign, as we have already started the campaign,
Yes.
Trying to free the voice of Robert Sobukwe. I think Kgaleshewe Youth Network, Native Minds, Fuka podcast, we came together and decided to embark on this campaign, freeing the voice of Sobukwe. But we need to come up with programs that can actually afford us the opportunity to seek for his voice.
Yes.
So one of the programs, King, is to take a bicycle trip.
A bicycle tour.
A bicycle tour from Kgaleshewe to Graafrenet, where Robert Sobukwe was born. And then from
Which
Graafrenet,
province is Graafrenet?
Eastern Cape.
Jesus Christ.
It's about 500 kilometers.
Oh, it's not.
Now it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's about 500 kilometers. It's about 500 kilometers to Graafrenet from Kimberley.
Yeah.
And then from Graafrenet, we want to cycle all the way
To
Robben Island to Cape Town.
Yeah, that's far. Now, how many Ks from there?
We're looking at about 600-700 cases. It's not that that far.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
to Cape
we
Town.
would have traveled almost 1,000 k's in total.
Yes.
Yes.
But in Robben Island and in Cape Town, we also want to understand what happened to the material Sobukwe for the time that he spent in Robben Island. The court or the parliament that enacted that law, so Robert Sobukwe Clause.
Who are
Is-
they?
is-
Who are they? Who's those individuals? It's very important to know, because you might find some of their descendants as in politics right now, and we don't know. The same with Bargman, Solomon Antonio, the father who said the judge that hanged him. The children went on to create the National Party and what you call the DA.
The DA, sure.
Yes. People like John Foster, Elder. John Foster was the Minister of Justice at the time.
Yes.
So he was the one
We sign it off.
that would sign it off. He was the one that would perpetuate it. And obviously, it should have been orders coming from above.
Sure.
But John Foster was the Minister of Justice, and he was the one that made sure that law was enacted to silence
Implemented.
and
yes.
implemented.
Yes.
So we believe the archives of our parliament should be having
They are there.
answers to say what happened.
But where are they, King?
Mm.
Because even here, Robert Sobukwe, mind you, Robert Sobukwe was a lawyer. Robert Sobukwe represented people of Khalishiwe.
You want those cases.
in the court.
You want the case numbers. You want everything.
No,
What do you want?
No, we want the voice because there were recordings.
You want recordings.
Even the voice.
Anything.
Anything
Picture,
about Robert
voice,
Sobukwe.
written,
Voice,
anything.
transcripts.
Mm.
Because I know Parliament, not Parliament, but the court had its own recordings. They would record the court proceedings. Where are those recordings? So we'll be organizing including the very same community of Khalishiwe, because we are this haunting. We are also being haunted by the very same community of Khalishiwe. What are you doing? You are occupying the office.
You are here.
What are you doing? So with the community behind us, we are saying that we'll be marching. We'll be marching to the court. We'll be marching, looking for Robert Sobukwe's voice right here in Khalishiwe, right here in Kimberley, because Sobukwe was held here and he represented people here. So we should be having something about Robert Sobukwe. I mean, there's a recording that's been going around of Saul Plaiki singing Nkosi Sikelele Africa, and it's a 1923-26 recording. We have recordings of Nelson Mandela addressing people, saying something, but none of Robert Sobukwe. So there must be something here. It's either you are saying that Robert Sobukwe is still dead up until this side of eternity, but we are saying this is the side of eternity now. We need to release Robert Sobukwe. Traore is busy. Traore is busy unifying Africa. Now we can't be sitting and waiting on Traore. What are we doing? We need to offload the load on top of Traore's shoulders and do something right here in South Africa.
Thank you. Yes.
And we need to relive Sobukwe and see as to the very same Traore that probably is also haunted by these ancestors, the Julius Nyereres, the Robert Sobukwes, the Marcus Garveys, you know. So it is meet that we tell the truth before we die, because from what we can see today, these politics are not going to take us anywhere. Politics are there to create, to create hope, to say that no, at least there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's no light. We are being caged by a very sinful Lord, who does not even want us to sing our own songs in our own fatherland. Yes.
Okay. I hear you, gentlemen. You want to embark on a serious
It is a serious campaign. And we want to drive it nationally. Hence, we came here to you, King, to spread this message. And we are also appealing to you and your followers to please join us in this campaign.
Yes.
To say that let us free the voice of Robert Sobukwe and hear for ourselves what Sobukwe had to say to us.
Yes.
We've heard the Mandelas. We've heard everyone. We want to hear Robert Sobukwe speak.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we'll spread the word. We'll spread the word. We've got Paseta Legal Minds. We need to get our people in law to tell us where to go and hunt for these archives. Make the journey a little bit easier for the gentlemen. Make the journey easy for us. Directors, give us wisdom. Connect with me. I will connect with them so that we can know which doors to knock in regard of freeing Sobukwe's voice. You have never heard a clip of Sobukwe. I'm sure you would love to hear something that Sobukwe said. I mean, how powerful was this man to be silenced even beyond death? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we're gonna have in a month we're gonna meet 2-3 times with the gentlemen so we can give you guys updates always. Sometimes I'll be on the Fuka podcast and then we'll share it here. And then most of the times they will be coming here so that we can spread the word for you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to go to the Fuka podcast and subscribe there. And Mr. Piris is here. Fuka podcast is here. We're gonna meet you guys again. Last words, gentlemen, as we are closing.
King, my last words would be, besides us going on the Free the Voice campaign to free the voice of Robert Sobukwe,
Yes.
we also want to see a life-size statue of Robert Sobukwe. That would be also one of the purposes for this campaign, to see that there is a life-size statue of Robert Sobukwe. We are currently advocating to make sure that the Robert Sobukwe office becomes a museum and a library for the community of Galeshewe, for the community of Greater Number 2. And then for us, we will constantly come on the King Said So platform to come and share, but we also, when you come on Fantuka, we'll continuously update you with the program for our campaign, which include protests, picketing, and then the bicycle tour for September, all the way from Kimberley, Galeshewe, to Reverend to Robben Island. For those few words, I would like to say thank you very much, King, for the opportunity, my brother. Blessed.
King, as the people of Galeshewe and Native Minds, including Galeshewe Youth Network, we are also, because we want to celebrate this icon. So we have come up with a festival. We want to see Galeshewe having a festival in memory of Robert Sobukwe. Mind you,
you ask yourself why these things are not already in place. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. I mean, come on.
PNC, you guys, come on.
No, I mean
ANC, even you guys.
Sobukwe was a lawyer
For the people.
For the people. So it is time that the Black Lawyers Association play their role as well.
You know, yes.
Sobukwe was a lay preacher at the Wesleyan Church. The church must want to remember Sobukwe.
Must play their part.
You know, Sobukwe was a jazz enthusiast. So we want to have a music festival. Where are the musicians? We want to have a whole week celebrating the life and times
Monday to Sunday festival.
Your Makufe kind of a festival,
of course,
but in memory of Robert Sobukwe. Hence, like Kenya said, we want also to raise funds to erect a statue of Robert Sobukwe, because we know that the government wouldn't do it for us. So we want to remember Sobukwe, and on top of that, we currently are busy doing our research because we want to document the 9 years of Robert Sobukwe in Khalishiwe. So we are busy doing research for a documentary, of which you are also welcome to help us in that regard, King.
Yes.
We also would love to see Khalishiwe remembering Robert Sobukwe, because the people of Khalishiwe are saying that we want to remember Robert Sobukwe. We want to remember Robert Sobukwe being whoever he was. Whoever he was, a lay preacher. We want the church to also remember him. Was a church, a mass that will be dedicated to Sobukwe, where the whole congregation, denominations of Khalishiwe would meet at one central point and have a mass dedicated to Sobukwe. A memorial lecture, tours of Sobukwe for students. Where are the artists? We need plays, we need productions dedicated to Robert Sobukwe's 9 years in Khalishiwe. Hence, we are saying that we are calling on the world to join us in looking for the voice of Robert Sobukwe.
Wow.
If really you see yourself wanting to see Africa being unchained, then join us on this cause. This is a just cause. And for this one, we are ready to lay our lives in order to remember Robert Sobukwe. That's the little that we can do for him, for the best that he has done for us.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the call is out there. The call is out there, and I'm very humble. I'm getting ideas. We'll talk after this. I'm getting ideas. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Sometimes you have to do something that is going to outlive you.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to do something that has no monetary benefit to yourself. Sometimes you have to do things that is unselfish.
Yes.
And this is what these gentlemen are doing. And the problem with us Africans is that we don't support enough of these initiatives. It's always them that are struggling. It's always the Pan-Africanists that are struggling. It's always the activists that are struggling. You find an activist, no house, no food in the house, but this person is doing what we call the Lord's work in the community. But we are not taking care of these people. So it's our time.
I need to commend you as well for PASETA, which is the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. Now, the idea here is to create a Pan-Africanist school which will push a Pan-Africanist agenda. And as part of this campaign, we want to humbly ask you for, if this PASETA school is going to be created, that it must be named Robert Sobukwe School of whatever.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful. Thank you so much for that, Elder. Really, Sobukwe must be remembered. There's no way. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking now for more than an hour. I appreciate the Elder for coming in. Fuka podcast. Don't forget, gentlemen, to go there and subscribe and go in the comment section and tell him that King Said So sent us, the soldiers of King Said So. Let's subscribe. Let's hit them with a 1,000 subscription quickly, fast, ho. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best and allow God to do the rest. Peace in Pan-Africanism. I salute you.
Among the Africans.
Hey, tada.